Live from the third largest city in the United States on this International Women's Day, it's The Drive with Mario Smith. I'm Mario Smith. Thank you for coming to Backchannel.tv and checking us out today. Technical difficulties kept us from bringing you a great show yesterday, but we're here today, and we will be here again tomorrow. And glad that you showed up. Thank you. Thank you so much. Lots to talk about today. We will get to all of it. Joining me from Portland, Oregon, is super producer Jay Gliss. What's up, man?
How's it going?
It's good. It's good. Enthusiasm everywhere.
Yeah. it's a new day.
It's a new enthusiasm. Unlike yesterday, where people may have heard me go, yes, really loudly, because I was super upset. I'm not upset today. You know, things happen for a reason, though. Just to kind of provide a little bit of contextualization. Over last weekend or 2 weekends ago, I can't even remember. And I mentioned it on the show. A friend of mine was murdered on his way home from work. And 2 days ago, last Friday, they caught the gentleman who did it. Turns out it was an 18-year-old kid. And that had been framing my mind the past few days. So yesterday was not a good day. And everything I did went wrong. The only thing that worked was me cooking dinner. And that was because I really just didn't care. And I kind of just did it, and it turned out great. And that was about the only thing. But I must say that us not being on yesterday kind of was just like, you shouldn't be doing any talking. Because I was not good. And a legendary Hall of Fame radio guy told me many years ago, when you get to the door of where you're doing your gig, whatever's happening outside, leave it outside the door. It'll be there when you come back. But that was one of those things that was hard for me to separate myself from. So sorry about yesterday. We're here today. Everything seems to be working. Gliss is here. We got stories galore. What's up? Oh, I'm going to mention it in the headlines. You see Dogface Man send his tweet that he's such a jerk.
No, I mean, I saw that he's getting paid an awful lot of money.
Maybe. I mean, we'll talk about it in a second. And Russell Wilson getting moved.
That's
huge.
That's a big one. That was a big one.
Huge. The AFC
makes
West
me very happy.
I know. The West is the West. Man, look, the West against everybody. That is the toughest division now in football. Easily, you got Mahomes, Carr, Herbert, him, and that's come on, man. That's unfair. That's unfair. Yeah. And whatever, you never know. Brady might end up in San Francisco.
I was going to say, you could say the same thing in the NFC as well, because last year the NFC West was loaded with, Arizona having the year they had, the Rams, the 49ers, the Seahawks, who obviously had a down year, but have been, a perennial playoff team for a long time. So
even the stupid Packers. Can't stand the stupid Packers.
Well, I was going to say... Yeah, I was going to say real quick, the thing that I thought I was bummed when I saw Aaron Rodgers was, going to sign this deal for Green Bay. But I was like, well, at least, I can continue hating the Packers.
Good for you. You should.
It's just at least it's just like, well, okay, acceptance, because I don't like them anyways. So,
they're the absolute worst of everything about everything. They are the Putin of football teams. And I don't like Putin. That's a strong statement to make. And he came back. They gave him, he'll be 41 years old when this contract ends. He he rarely gets touched because it's hard to beat a team when it's 11 against 17. But I mean, you know, dog face man is bad.
It is kind of interesting though that he went from like I might retire like 2 years in a row to like now he's signing a 4-year deal. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I got my money, so yeah, I'll stick around for a little bit.
He's taking Jim Kata or Koopa Chabra. What the hell is he doing? Kumasutra or something where he goes and hides and he gets his brain in order. You jerk. I can't stand him. Whatever. The headlines, and then you come back and do a show. Oh, by the way, if you are in a Preston says my hair looks great. Okay. Thank you. Isaac and Yaya, Melinda and Elizabeth, thank you all for being on the show. Isaac's in Florida, Elizabeth's in Maine, Melinda is in Virginia. I don't know where Yaya is from, and I don't know what hair Preston is seeing, but thank you and truly appreciate it. If you want to catch up with what's happening on the drive, you can, not on the drive, I'm sorry. If you want to catch up with what's happening on Backchannel, you can join us starting at 6 a.m. Eastern time with Haley and Allison. Then at 8, it's Liv Harrison. And following Liv at 10 Eastern, it's Jam and Renee, followed by Sir Anthony Davis at noon. Your pal Hal, my pal Hal at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then we hop on and do this nonsense called The Drive, me and Gliss. And let's see how it goes today. In headlines at this hour, a Texas man was convicted today of storming the U.S. Capitol with a holstered handgun, a milestone victory for federal prosecutors in the first trial among hundreds of cases arising from last year's riot. A jury also convicted Guy Wesley Reffitt of obstructing Congress's joint session to certify the Electoral College vote on January 6, 2021, of interfering with police officers who were guarding the Capitol, and of threatening his 2 teenage children if they reported him to law enforcement after the attack. Jurors deliberated about 3 hours and convicted him on all counts. Henry Enrique Tarrio, the former leader of the Proud Boys, a far-right extremist group, was arrested today in connection with his organization's role in planning the January 6 attack. While Tarrio, 38, is not accused of physically taking part in the breach of the Capitol, the indictment alleges that he led the advance, planning, and remained in contact with other members of the Proud Boys during their breach, according to a statement today from the Justice Department. Tarrio was arrested in Miami and is to make his initial court appearance in the Southern District of Florida. He was also named in a superseding indictment returned Monday in the District of Columbia that also includes 5 previously charged defendants. And finally, this jerk is going back to Green Bay to continue to be a jerk for his 18th season of jerkiness, and a move that keeps that reigning MVP jerk off the trade market, and to prove just how stupid the stupid Packers are. They're going to keep him up there and not have any money for any free agents ever. He's going to be throwing to himself, and that's the headlines. He's a jerk. When we come back, we'll have news from around the world. It's The Drive with Mario Smith here on Backchannel.tv, YouTube, and on your Amazon-supported devices. We will be right back. Welcome back, everybody. It's The Drive. Mario Smith here on Backchannel.tv, live from Chicago, Illinois on International Women's Day. How you doing? Hope you're having a great afternoon. My hair looks great. That's what he said. I want to hear more of this. There's nothing. He stopped talking. But it's nice that he thought my hair looked good. Jake Bliss is joining from Portland, Oregon. And there's so much stuff happening. And I ask you this, I think, once the show, Bliss, the gas prices, are they shooting up where you are?
Yeah, they're pretty expensive.
It's getting close to $5 in Chicago.
Yeah, it's not that bad here yet, but I think we're still, closer to the $4 mark. But it's definitely pretty spendy.
I see a lot of people blaming Joe Biden and Putin for this, and I don't know about the Biden part, and you can probably put some on Putin for sure. But in April of 2020, President Trump made a deal with OPEC Plus to reduce the manufacturing and the production of gasoline. Doesn't really affect you in the U.S., but it affects the price of gas. So this was going to happen anyway. That agreement ends next month, I think. But I find it interesting that nobody's really talking about that because he made such a big deal out of it. And then Putin in this war in the Ukraine, yeah, gas is going to go up, food is going up, just the basic stuff that people need, not just here in the U.S., which is selfish for people to think it's only us that's affected, but all over the place. So what to do, right? I suggest you go to the store, find a Costco or Sam's Club or something, and treat it like COVID. Prepare to entertain yourself in your house. Charades and Pictionary. Don't if you're going to travel, you're going to spend a lot of money on gas. I imagine airplane tickets are going to go way up. Costs money to put oil in those big things. Fuel, oil. But
summer plans.
Yeah. Well, see, the best thing about living in Chicago is that this is where people come for the summer. So I'm good.
Well, we like to get away a little bit. We do a lot of camping and hiking and that kind of stuff in the summertime. But some of that we got to cover some ground. We have one that's right in our backyard. It's like 25 minutes from my house, but we'll just be spending more time out there, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, life's what you make it anyway. You have a wonderful family, man. You guys will figure it out. It's not that you just like, you're not me. I'm a single guy. My entertainment comes from like video games and walking around aimlessly in my neighborhood, just, and trying to make the best of a situation. Joe Biden is calling this. What do you call it? Not the Putin tax, Putin price hike. So these two are going in a back and forth. And it's funny because, as we have talked about many times, President Biden's athleticism as he runs into things. I think I remember when Barack Obama was president and how President Obama kind of had Putin in check. There's a famous picture. I just thought about it of Obama having a conversation with Putin, and he's like looking at him like, if you pull it, I will vaporize you. And Putin's kind of looking at him like, I cannot believe this black man is talking to me this way. It's funny, but it says a lot about the character of that president, Barack Obama, how he walked right up to him. He looked for Putin at it wasn't a G8. I can't remember what meeting it was, but he walked right up on him like, "What's up, Chicago in the building? Listen, tell you something. You try and pull it, I'm gonna blow you up. I'm gonna blow everything you love up. I'm gonna blow it all up." But now Putin is like a nervous bank robber that's holding a hostage. He's like, if you come any closer, I'll get him. He's threatening the world with nuclear war, and everybody's like, dude, why don't you just leave the Ukraine? Why are you there? You don't even need to be there. It's kind of ridiculous to be there. With all that being said, then Biden is like, you know what? I'm not going to use any Russian oil imports. And I'm trying to think. I thought our oil came from Venezuela, and I'm wrong. And I didn't know we had Russian oil imports here in the U.S. that we used, unless we're using that on like military bases in Europe. And I suppose I could read the story and get all those answers, Bliss, but I kind of like doing it this way. I just want to speculate, wildly claim things that aren't true for another 45, 46 minutes.
It's fine with me.
Yay! Yay! No, I think it's interesting that Biden and the world is like pulling it on Putin. It's really hard. It's hard to like, okay, Shell Oil. They're gonna stop buying Russian oil.
Yeah.
And natural gas. They're like, yo, you know what? We're not with it either. And we're the worst. Shell is like apartheid city, the absolute worst. And they're like, yeah, we don't like this war you're doing. Shell said that it's going to stop buying Russian oil after Ukrainian officials criticized the energy giant for buying a shipment of crude from Moscow and demanded that all multinational companies sever ties with Russia over the war. The economic impact that this is having on Russia cannot be denied. How long can Putin keep this up is the real question. And the US, the UK, they're banning Russian oil imports. Other countries, McDonald's is closing restaurants in the Soviet Union, in Russia. McDonald's doesn't back down from anybody. They're like, these Big Macs, even if they got the weird spelling, are still Big Macs. That's part of our revenue stream. And now they're even pulling out. So I think it's not if but when this is over, and I'm banking on the it being over once China says, had about enough, player. Can't keep doing this. This isn't cool. We need you to stop doing it in the Ukraine and let those people live and see what Putin's reaction is. There's a big story in the New York Times about how the relationship between President Xi and Putin really got amped up during the Olympics, and then China was like, nothing. They basically quoted a Sade song and said, "Nothing will come between us." And now it's all kinds of stuff coming between them because China has a vested interest in the Ukraine, not in a little way, in a major way. China was the first country to come to the aid, if you will, of the Ukraine 30 years ago when all this started between the then Soviet Union and the Ukraine. So China is like, hey, don't attack them until after the Olympics. Putin honored that. Then China's like, well, nothing will come between our friendship. And that gave the green light for Putin to do what he's doing now. So the gas going up, your food, Putin, Trump, Xi Jinping, all of it. It's all connected, brother. Remember when Trump tried to get the president of Ukraine to lie? Remember that? It wasn't that long ago. None of this stuff exists in a vacuum. And I'm not solely blaming Donald Trump for this, but he got a lot to do with it. More reason why it's amazing to me that he gets to walk around and freely and talk. Because if that had been Mario Smith or Jay Bliss, bye, they're both gone. What happened to them? Gone. Biden's making a move today too on cryptocurrency, and I definitely want to get you guys' opinion on our in our poll. So the poll question for today: hey Trent, it's your first time in Texas. Welcome. The poll question for you guys today in the chat: do you own cryptocurrency, and are you worried that the U.S. government is going to regulate the crap out of it? Hit us up. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a live chat for you to join in at and make your opinion felt. If you're on backchannel.tv, you can also leave your answer and you can leave a review of the show. And if you're on your Alexandria device, see what I did? You can ask it to join the chat by starting it off with say, and then say whatever you want. President Biden is expected to sign an executive order on cryptocurrency this week that'll mark the first step toward regulating how digital currency is traded. The move comes as administration officials have raised concerns in recent weeks about Russia's use of cryptocurrency to evade the impact of crushing sanctions in response to its invasion of Ukraine. The sanctions have sent the ruble to historic lows and have closed the country's stock market. Two people familiar with the process said the executive order on cryptocurrency was expected to be issued this week, and it had been in the works long before the war. Both people spoke on condition of anonymity to preview the order. The order is expected to describe what government agencies, including the Treasury Department, need to do to develop policies and regulations on digital currencies. It is expected to include a request for the State Department to ensure that American cryptocurrency laws are aligned with those of U.S. allies, and will ask the Financial Stability Oversight Council, which monitors the stability of the U.S. financial system, to study illicit finance concerns. Additionally, the order will explore the possibility of a new central bank digital currency. The Federal Reserve issued a paper on the topic in January that explores the risks and benefits of U.S. backed digital currency. Sounds like they're going to make the dollar bill digital. Sounds like it. Sounds like it to me. Implicit in the order will be that cryptocurrency will remain a part of the U.S. economy for years to come. The White House's plans to move forward with the executive order were first reported by Bloomberg News. While U.S. officials have played down the significance of cryptocurrency to Russia's ability to evade sanctions, it remains a concern. And this is Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen that's about to make this quote. She says, "We will continue to look at how the sanctions work and evaluate whether or not there are liquid leakages, and we have the possibility to address them." And have we the possibility, rather, to address them? I often hear cryptocurrency mentioned, and that is a channel to be watched. A senior administration official who also spoke on the condition of anonymity said the president's national security team has already been on the lookout for the use and creation of front companies and alternate financial institutions that Moscow might try to employ to get around sanctions. I can see this crypto dollar bill, though. And what a way to bring it in and to usher it in. You got it under the auspices of a war, and you're afraid that the Russian president is going to use it to get around your sanctions that you set. While at the same time, you can't regulate the cryptocurrency anyway. But you make that US dollar digital, you can start throwing your weight around, because now that crypto money will never be as valuable as the US dollar digitally. And it's a whole new world. That's an erasure of debt, perhaps? Gliss, we got to get a financial expert on, because God knows I'm not. We got to get a financial expert on.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because I'm curious, man. If you're telling me, pardon me, if you're telling me that if they make the dollar digital because of this, what happens to the national debt? Because cryptocurrency and paper money are two different things. You're mining the cryptocurrency, you can cover the debt forever. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that would be an interesting. We might have to look into that. That would be an interesting topic, because that's a topic that's definitely not going away anytime soon, and is probably a big part of our future moving forward. So,
I would imagine if I'm running things, which I'm not, but if I'm running, if I'm a person that has a bunch of Bitcoin, and I'm hearing that the United States government is strongly considering regulating cryptocurrency, one, I'm worried about what I got, and two, I'm trying to find out how do I convert that into a digital US dollar, because I think that's what's going to happen. And I think that's the only way that the US will be able to get into that game and actually continue to rely on the central bank, which means then cryptocurrency might be a thing for everybody. And your paper money, you might have to convert it. It could be worth nothing, or it could be worth a lot. I guess the joke is you're a billionaire 1 minute, and then in the next minute you're broke. That would stop all of that. because everybody would base their on the dollar, and then that's the British pound, which I guess they don't use anymore because it's the euro, and then one money, and then all of the conspiracy theorists are outside singing in the rain. But there you go. So if you got cryptocurrency, you may want to hold on to it. Um, it's just something to think about. Something to think about. And I see it, man. I can see them do it too, because it's right up their alley. They've got nothing to lose by doing it. And I have I think I got a Bitcoin, not a Bitcoin. It's a guap coin, is what I have. And I think it's just like a 0.1 something. I don't know anything about cryptocurrency. So yeah, we gotta put that on the list, man. Let's get a financial expert. You know, this show is really like two buddies in a basement. There's just no beer, and our television doesn't work, and we just talk about stuff until we get tired, and then we go home.
And then we break out the beer.
And then we find beer. It's like miraculously beer appears once we say bye, everybody. And then, oh, look at beer. The pandemic, yes, it is. The pandemic isn't over just because you're over it, and America needs major new spending in areas like disease surveillance and next generation PPE if it wants to avoid repeating mistakes of COVID-19 pandemic. Of the COVID-19 pandemic, according to two reports out this week. The reports are among recent attempts by public health officials to lay out the weaknesses exposed by the pandemic and the steps needed to build more resiliency in the health system before the next crisis. Quote, if we had another pandemic come along in the next year, I'd be very confident that it would be the same, if not worse, says Devin Jop, CEO of the Association for Professionals in Infection Control and Epidemiology. I said the word without stumbling. Epidemiology, epidemiologists. If you don't have the ability to have surge capacity, if you don't have trained infection preventionists, if you don't have testing capabilities, or if there are manufacturing issues or supply chain challenges, and we haven't addressed those, then we haven't learned anything, Jop said. A report released first to Axios, thank you to Axios for this, by APIC calls for Congress to fund a number of public health improvements, such as more resources to protect healthcare workers on the job. The group calls for the development of off-the-shelf, one-size-fits-all respiratory devices or masks that don't need fit testing for each individual space, as well as PPE that's designed to be cleanable and reusable. Major lesson learned. If healthcare workers are fearful for their own safety and health, it affects patient care. They're tied at the hip. We saw that directly with COVID, said Linda Dickey, APIC's 2022 president and interim senior director for quality, patient safety, and infection prevention at UCI Health. They also call for supply chain improvements, improved testing capacity, better IT systems for sharing public health data, and investments for building up the infection control workforce at all levels, including in long-term care and nursing homes. So my level of faith that the United States is ready for the next pandemic is unfortunately uh, bottom of the sea low. I don't think they are. I don't think the U.S. is ready for another pandemic. People are freaking out now because they don't have to wear masks. Some people are mad. Like, what do you want? So I don't know if we're ready for another major pandemic, another health event in our country. We should get ready, though. I think we should be prepared for it because it's inevitable, right? Particularly how this one started and the variants that came from it. If it's something worse, what are you going to do? So I would hope that the United States is working on it. That would be in the best interest of the country. The CDC says that COVID will probably become a seasonal virus like the flu. Even as cases of COVID-19 continue to fall nationwide, the head of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says that the coronavirus is most likely here to stay and that it could behave similarly to influenza. Quote, this is Dr. Rochelle Walensky from the CDC. She's the director of it. I do anticipate that this is probably going to be a seasonal virus. That means it could join the flu and other respiratory viruses that tend to spread during the cold winter months. The U.S. is averaging 49,569 new COVID cases a day, according to an NBC News tally, a decrease of more than 54% over the past 2 weeks. COVID related death numbers are also falling, now averaging 1,533 per day, a reduction of about a third over the past 2 weeks. Despite the positive COVID trend, CDC officials say it is increasingly likely that the coronavirus will never truly go away, instead, simmering at low levels and rising in the winter. Quote, this virus will probably continue to circulate in our society, in our country, around the world for years to come, said Dr. Henry Walk, the director of the CDC's Center for Preparedness and Response. This next 6 months, the next year, will really inform us in terms of what living with this virus is going to be like. But he added he hopes the most recent surge, driven by the extremely contagious Omicron variant, will be, quote, the last real large surge from SARS CoV 2. While the CDC says 90% of people in the U.S. can take off their masks now, Walensky says she can't guarantee that masks will be gone forever. That means they could one day make a comeback. Quote, I would say put your masks in a drawer, anticipate that you may need them again, and hope that we don't, close quote. Well, that's reassuring. Thank you, Dr. Walensky. I feel better about COVID and everything else. Wow. Oh, boy. How about that? How do you guys feel good about that? You put your mask away, she said. Here's another thing that I wanted to talk about that has been bugging me. It's called the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act. It's named after Emmett Till, who was famously beaten to death, young black man beaten to death by a group of white people in the Deep South after he alleged to have whistled at a white woman, who later would say, and by later I mean decades later, almost when she's dead, would say that that didn't happen. Congress gave final approval Monday to legislation that for the first time would make lynching a federal hate crime in the U.S., sending the bill to President Joe Biden to sign into law. Years in the making, and by years, we mean since Emmett Till died and before that, when people were being lynched regularly. The Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act is among some 200 bills that have been introduced over the past century that have tried to ban lynching in America. I want to just paint a picture for you. Lynching was not banned in America until yesterday. It wasn't a federal crime until yesterday. So you could, in effect, get so upset at someone that you could lynch them, and it wasn't a federal crime, and it was subject to interpretation in many cases. There are hundreds of thousands of artifacts and documents and pictures that talk about people being lynched, black people being lynched, and in some cases, white people who were helpful to black people being lynched. And in 2022, they finally got around to it. You know, it took a minute. Had other things to do. That is, yo, you tell me, man. You tell me. I had to really think about that. Emmett Till got murdered in 1955. Lynchings were taking place before Emmett Till was murdered, since slavery. That's 18 something. Yeah? And then in 2022, we still don't have flying cars, and we're just getting around to making sure that lynching is now finally a federal crime. We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, Gliss and I, and it's finally happened. The space junk has crashed into the far side of the moon. And if the band you're in starts playing different tunes to you on the dark side of the moon. I love that album. Sorry. It's going to be a minute. Ain't that a great album? Isn't it? You know, Gliss, funny thing. Here's a story real quick. When I was a teenager, I got that album in my possession, and I sat in my room, and I locked the door, and I couldn't have been. Well, I had to be old enough to do it, so I might have been like 19 years old. I locked the door, and I I proceeded to smoke my brains out and listen to Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. And I don't have that album in my collection, but I need to recreate that moment. I gotta get it again. Miss Pulliam says the Moonians are the Moonians are going to send the space junk back. I need to get that album again because it is a powerful piece of of rock and roll history. Tay Tay is here, as well as Daniel and Vivian, both in California. Maria is here. Maria, I just met a girl named Maria.
Can we just say? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying Kaylee is here, and Daniel, who's it's his first time on the show. Hey, Daniel in California, and Milo, dog or human or group of people and dog in Bliss's kitchen are checking out the show. Hey, Lindsay, if it's you, how you doing? Hey, Jack, if it's you, roof, Milo.
I was gonna say, your experience with Dark Side of the Moon, isn't that the way that I think that it seems like that was the intention of how you were supposed to experience that album?
Oh, it worked.
Because yeah, it has that's one of those albums, like if you just don't think about anything else around you and you sit down in your car or a dark room and just throw that thing on, man, it's a whole experience.
I gotta tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a thing to behold. By the way, this space junk that hit the moon is the size of a bus, and it was expected to crash into the moon at 7:25 Eastern on Friday of last week, traveling at a speed of about 5,700 miles per hour. So yeah, it hit. It most likely it's the Chinese Chang 5-Ti booster that was launched in 2014. And if the band you're in starts playing different tunes, go somewhere, sing the dark, smoke your brains out, and listen to the Dark Side of the Moon. And the Moonians are gonna give it back. I gotta remember that. That was a day maker right there. The Moonians. Thank you, Miss Pulliam. Appreciate that. The Moonians. But yeah, man, Dark Side of the Moon. And in fact, when we take this break in a second, I'm gonna put that in my queue for albums to buy, even if it's a used, scratched up copy, which I think I'll appreciate more because I'll understand that person's struggle. I will definitely be bringing home Dark Side of the Moon. I don't know how I don't have that already. And my sister and her husband, because I was living with my sister, she was furious. One, she was furious because I wouldn't share, and two, she was furious because she couldn't get into my room. And I was just like, nope, man, I'm gone. My body might be here, but I have taken off into the darkest reaches of my entire brain. I was out. Bliss, we're going to come back, and then we're going to have our community report, which Tay loves, by the way. He lives for the community report. He left me a message yesterday after we couldn't get it together. He texted me like, "What am I going to do? No community report."
My favorite segment.
That's what the hell. So I'm gonna make sure we have a solid community report for Tay today. Everybody, it's The Drive with Mario Smith. Thank you for being a passenger on The Drive today. You're watching this show on Backchannel.tv or YouTube, and you're also listening to us on your Amazon supported device. We'll be back in just a moment with more of The Drive. Be back after these birds. I'm just a blabbing. Nobody can hear me. I was saying correct is here, and then correct left. I had a whole, yeah, I know, Gliss, my bad. Correct had a whole conversation, and it's the mute. See, look, it's
It
real.
happened.
Yeah, I do it all the time too. I'm the best at it. That little button right there. Even though I know I'm muted, I always mute the thing because I say some outlandish stuff when we're on a break, and I don't want people to hear that, and then I forget it's on. So there you go. Be another feather in my cap. Minneapolis public school teachers hit the picket lines today, saying they're fighting to ensure the safe and stable schools our students deserve, and for better wages for the lowest paid support professionals. For many families of the 29,000 students in one of Minnesota's largest school districts, an extended walkout by the nearly 3,300 teachers could mean a return to the struggles of balancing work and childcare that they have faced throughout the coronavirus pandemic. Molly Dengler, co president of the Parent Teacher Association at a Spanish immersion elementary school in downtown Minneapolis, said the PTA is using WhatsApp to inform parents, connect them with childcare, and help them organize learning groups. They're all hoping for a short strike, said Dengler, who has a first grade son. Quote, we all have real jobs, close quote, she said. For many families, quote, maybe today they could call off of work, but it's not sustainable to keep calling out of work, close quote. No talks were scheduled. Union leaders said district officials would not compromise on wages, especially a living wage for education support professionals, as well as caps on class sizes and more mental health services for students. Greta Callahan said, we are on strike for safe and stable schools. We're on strike for systemic change. We're on strike for our students, the future of our city, and the future of Minneapolis public schools. Greta is the president of the teachers chapter of the Minneapolis Federation of Teachers. Um, the average annual salary for Minneapolis teachers is more than $71,000 a year. The union says that puts them among the lowest paid districts in the Minneapolis St. Paul area. A main union demand is a starting salary of $35,000 for education support professionals, compared with the current $24,000 a year, which union officials say is essential to hire and retain people of color. Randy Weingarten, president of the American Federation of Teachers, said students and parents across the country have relied on school nurses, support staff, and educators to create, quote, as normal a situation as possible, close quote, during the COVID-19 pandemic. Again, Weingarten, how do you attract black and brown teachers if you don't pay a living wage? Minneapolis administrators have cited a $26 million budget shortfall for next year that they said would be $97 million without one-time federal funding. The district says it lost 3,000 students during the pandemic, leading to reduced state aid. According to the Association of Metropolitan School Districts, Twin Cities area districts face a combined shortfall of more than $230 million for the 22-23 school year. It cited the cost of special education and English learner programs and the failure of state funding to keep pace with inflation. This sounds like a strike that's going to go on for a while. Um, it's a very noble effort that the teachers are putting up to fight for better conditions for students, making sure that the healthcare issue is taken care of, and all those other things. And Minnesota, the school district is crying, we don't have any money to take care of those things. This could be a standoff that lasts for a long, 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 long time. Um, and there it is. Um, so if you're in Minnesota watching us, I don't know what to tell you. Move to Iowa. No, don't move to Iowa. You don't want to be there either. One teen dead, two critically injured in a shooting at an Iowa high school. 6 teenagers were arrested today, by the way, um, in regard to that shooting. A teenager was dead and two others were critically injured in a shooting just before dismissal outside an Iowa high school yesterday. Police said the gunfire appeared to have come from a passing vehicle, police said later. Multiple people were detained for questioning after the attack Monday afternoon at East High School, Des Moines Police Sergeant Paul Parzek said. The gunfire appeared to have come from a passing vehicle, police said later. A 15-year-old boy who did not attend the school was killed, police said in an update last night. Two East High School students, 16 and 18 years old, remained in critical condition late yesterday. The identities of the three victims were not available. And a update to that story, and I will try to provide that update for you right now. Six people were arrested in connection with the drive-by shooting yesterday, and each suspect was booked on suspicion of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. Um, all the suspects are Des Moines residents, police said, and each has been booked on suspicion of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. The youngest is 14, the oldest is 17, and because they're minors, their names will not be in this report. Detectives quickly learned that this was a drive-by shooting and the deceased victim was the intended target. Wow. Incredible. It's still happening. And this was a drive-by shooting. It is still happening. No matter what we try to do, school shootings, etc., it's still happening. More evacuations in the Florida Panhandle as 2 wildfires become 3. 2 massive wildfires burning in an area of the Florida Panhandle became 3 late on Sunday, adding a veterans nursing home to the growing list of evacuated dwellings. The Florida Forest Service said yesterday that evacuation orders affecting more than 1,000 homes caused by the Bertha Swamp Road fire and the Adkins Avenue fire would remain in place. Both fires started Friday. The Bertha Swamp Road fire was at about 12,000 acres and 20% containment on Monday, while the Atkins Avenue fire was about 841 acres and 40% containment, Bay County Emergency Services said. A third fire, the Star Avenue fire, started on Sunday. It was at 250 acres and 45% containment yesterday, according to the Florida Forest Service. The fire forced the evacuation of the 120-bed Clifford Chester Sims State Veterans Nursing Home in Panama City. All 3 fires are now being referred to as the Chipola Complex, officials said. Governor and part-time supervillain Ron DeSantis called the larger Bertha Swamp Road fire a big boy at a news conference in Panama City on Sunday afternoon, saying it's moving very quickly. That's it, Governor DeSantis? All right. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution and help. Truly appreciate you. He's got a lot to say, that Governor DeSantis, doesn't he? And here's another tragic story that happened in Florida, and I'm trying to wrap my mind around this. A Florida teacher was beaten and hospitalized after an attack by a 5-year-old. The victim could blink and breathe regularly, but was not able to vocally respond following beating at Pines Lake Elementary School in Pembroke Pines. A South Florida teacher was taken to the hospital last week after she was attacked by a 5-year-old student, leaving her dazed and unresponsive, officials said Monday. The unidentified instructor was found by first responders sitting on the ground against the wall and appearing to be in a faint state at Pines Lakes Elementary School, about 15 miles southwest of downtown Fort Lauderdale, according to a heavily redacted Pembroke Pines Police Department incident report. The victim was clearly weak and dazed, able to blink and breathe regularly, but at no point was able to vocally respond or show signs of a response, the report said. The troubling incident started when a 5-year-old boy had to be removed from class for throwing things around and flipping the chairs. Okay, the youngster was taken to an empty cool-down room where the attack on the teacher allegedly took place, police said. The teacher was taken to Memorial Regional Hospital in Hollywood, Florida, and has since been released. While the young suspect is still being investigated for possible, quote, aggravated assault with hands, fists, and feet, close quote, it's unlikely he'll be criminally prosecuted. This is so messed up. He was 5 years old. First of all, let me step away from this story for a minute. Just me and you talking. If a 5-year-old, I'm not advocating violence against children in any way, but I gotta say it. If a 5-year-old walk up on me and tries to pull it, sir, that's the last time you all will see that 5-year-old for a while. You're not going to be 5 years old and pull it. No, absolutely not. No.
That's what I was wondering about. Like, I want to know more details because trust me, I have 4 boys. And I've had some physical, I wouldn't call them altercations. Well, I guess they're altercations, not me doing anything to my children physically, except, having to defend myself against them.
A barrage of children.
Yeah. But I mean, even I can think of my oldest, like even as, recently as a couple years ago, once he's, when he was kind of like a preteen, and he started to think he knew everything, and he has a little bit of a temper. And yeah, I've had to deal with some stuff like that, and I can physically hold my own against him.
I would hope.
If my 5-year-old, like, I'm sorry, like, you pick the 5-year-old up and you
man, you could stop that crime in a moment, like a little boy.
And I've had to do that. I've had to pull a 5-year-old out of a car because they refused to get out and they were kicking and screaming. And they're beating me in the back. But I mean, it's just little tiny hands as I'm manhandling them, carrying them into the house. I just don't like. There had to be a weapon involved or something. Like, I don't understand.
Have a weapon. You 5 years old.
Exactly.
I'm a grown ass man. I will box you, little boy. I will fight. I will straight up karate chop you, child, right into the ether. 5 years old.
It doesn't seem feasible to me for a 5-year-old to hurt a grown person.
She was like dazed up against the wall. Man, look, that little boy would be. They would be, "What, sir? You're under arrest. He's only 5." And then there's the other part. They're like, "Well, we should probably criminally prosecute this 5-year-old." You can't criminally prosecute a 5-year-old. He's 5. What's the charge? Aggravated battery from a 5-year-old? Is he like Boss Baby? Does he wear a suit to school? Get out of here. Scram. No. 5-year-old teacher beaten by
I just don't see it. Unless he threw a brick or something, this story makes no sense to me. I don't understand it.
Okay. The victim in her late 30s or early 40s is about 5'4" with a slender frame. Man, I don't care. She suffered a concussion.
She's a grown woman, though.
Okay, well, this might add a little light to it. It's a special education kid between 50 and 60 pounds. Right. And I get that, but look, you little demon, you will get beat up by me. That's a terrible thing to say, but there's no way in the world. I don't care what kind of education, special education. Good. We're going to get you outside because I don't want to put my hands on you. But if you come in, and apparently this kid was biting and kicking her and screaming. So, no. Beat it.
I mean, that's the thing. Like you said, there's no way to justify, doing anything physically to a child unless there's a circumstance where you have to do something. Like they're a child. Like when it comes down to it,
you're a child. You're 5.
I'm not gonna punch my child in the face, but at the same time, I have the physical means to not allow a child to do those types of things to me. If you have to restrain a child or do something like that, because in reality, they're a child. They could not only hurt themselves, they could hurt other people. Right. If a child's acting like that and they have special needs, that even makes it, even more of a reason why, there needs to be some kind of intervention to not allow this type of behavior to continue any longer.
And if this child is between 50 and 60 pounds at 5 years old, unless he's Shaquille O'Neal height and weight, I'm getting you off of me. And I understand she's a woman. And I understand she's 5'4". I understand this is a special needs kid. I understand all those things. It's just hard for me to understand that a 5-year-old is going to wield that kind of power where I get a concussion from him. Man, stop it. The event was really short because I grabbed this 5-year-old child and removed him. Get up off me. 5 years old. Bliss, you know how upset that made me when I read that earlier today. Oh, 5 years old? 5-year-old little boy. Little boy be looking for the moon. 5 years old.
Yeah.
There's an event in your area, by the way.
Yeah.
One dead, another critically injured after falling 200 feet on Oregon's Mount Hood.
Beautiful
Wow.
mountain.
I mean, it is one of the most beautiful mountains in the world, but yo, crews found one person dead and another with critical injuries on Oregon's Mount Hood Monday after they were forced to pause rescue efforts over the weekend due to avalanche conditions and deep snow. The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office issued a multi team search and rescue mission on Sunday after two people fell around 200 feet in the Luthold, I'm pronouncing this all wrong, brother. I'm sorry. Luthold Collier area of Mount Hood, the agency said in a news release. Both had initially been injured in the fall, but one of them was able to call 911 using a cell phone and also used a Garmin InReach device to notify an emergency contact something was wrong, according to the sheriff's office. A rescue team was deployed with volunteer rescuers also joining the effort. The sheriff's office said rescuers were met with extremely challenging conditions with winds blowing between 50 and 70 miles per hour. Around 11:40 p.m. Sunday, the first climbing team was able to make it within 700 feet elevation, make it within around 700 feet elevation below the pair, according to the release. The team was ultimately forced to turn back due to heightened avalanche danger in the area. Yesterday, the sheriff's office said rescuers were finally able to reach the duo despite Mount Hood seeing at least two natural release avalanche events that day. When they reached them, they found that one of them had died. As rescuers looked to get the second person to safety, the sheriff's office said they were forced to make the tough decision to leave the deceased on the mountain, with plans to mount a recovery mission when conditions improve. All right, so look, Bliss, when I come out there, we're not going anywhere near Mount Hood, okay?
Oh, you can go up there. You just, and I have a diagram up here. This is that area right here up at the top.
Okay.
That's where they were on the west side of the mountain. So as you can see, that is you don't want to be falling from there. And unfortunately, it's one of the things that kind of comes along with doing activities like that, and it's kind of what people do in Oregon. People camp and go skiing and do a lot of hiking and all backpacking, all kinds of things like that. But I've been hiking or camping several times, or even out at the Oregon coast, where people ignore little things, little rules, like don't cross this fence line or whatnot. And I've seen several people life flighted out of areas because they're just and not to say these people weren't being careful. It sounds like they had the necessary gear for in case of an emergency to notify people that they were out there. But it's unfortunate because it's just one of the things that comes along with doing activities like that.
Yeah, like I said, when I come out there, bro, no 5-year-olds attacking me, because I will show them the way, and no mountains.
Well, you can go a little bit up the mountain, and there's some beautiful lakes and stuff out there where you don't have to worry about falling off of anything.
Well, the best part of today is me and Hal are going to have a date at Dairy Queen when I go to California. Oh, for sure, that's happening.
You got a whole West Coast itinerary coming down the line.
There's some drinks involved, Dairy Queen, a bunch of baseball, I hope. Try to visit my sister while I'm in Los Angeles, maybe, and then go to Oregon, see you, and then go to Colorado, to Denver to see a friend of mine. Because I haven't seen this person since high school. So yeah, I got a West Coast thing happening. Let's step away, and then when we come back, we'll have the news for the top of the hour, and we'll have hour 2 of The Drive with Mario Smith here on Backchannel.tv, YouTube, and on your Amazon supported devices. We'll be right back after these words. Welcome back to The Drive with Mario Smith. I am Mario Smith, live from Chicago, Illinois, on this International Women's Day all around the world. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. There is some breaking news. McDonald's, Starbucks, and Coca-Cola will pause sales in Russia after weeks of pressure to respond to the invasion of the Ukraine. McDonald's, Starbucks, and Coca-Cola. It's only a matter of time before this is over. I'm telling you. You want to get somebody where it counts, where it hurts the most, their pocket. All that diplomacy and stuff, you try it and it doesn't work, then you do the other thing. Joining me in Portland, Oregon, is my man Jay Gliss. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to hour 2 of the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, buddy.
Those are big players right there.
The biggest.
Yeah,
that's a huge deal. If McDonald's, Starbucks, and Coca-Cola in particular is super popular in Russia, and if they're like, we good, Putin's got a decision to make, and since nobody wants to have conflict with anybody, I don't think it's in his best interest to get big boy mad about it. It's all leading up to China saying to him, "Hey man, you got to stop. This is not the way to do it." And the Ukrainians, to their credit, have put up a hell of a fight. He wasn't expecting any of that. He couldn't have been expecting that. He thought he was just going to walk in there and because I'm Putin and this is Russia and we've got weapons bigger than yours, that we're just going to do it. Those Ukrainians, they were ready. It's an amazing story. But again, McDonald's, Starbucks, and Coca-Cola are all going to pause sales in Russia after weeks of pressure in response to the invasion of Ukraine from the Russians. Huge news as we go into our headlines for today. The first trial in the Capitol riot ends in convictions on all counts. A Texas man was convicted today of storming the U.S. Capitol with a holstered handgun, a milestone victory for federal prosecutors in the first trial among hundreds of cases arising from last year's riot. Proud Boys leader arrested and charged with conspiracy in connection to his organization's role in planning the January 6th attack. Henry Enrique Tarrio, the former leader of the Proud Boys, was arrested today. While Tarrio, 38, is not accused of physically taking part in the breach on the Capitol, the indictment alleges that, quote, he led the advance planning and remained in contact with other members of the Proud Boys during their breach, according to a statement issued from the Justice Department earlier today. And finally, and I don't know why anyone would care, but Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing with the stupid Packers next year again because he can't figure out how to do anything. And the Packers are so stupid, they're going to pay him a guaranteed $135 million because he's an old man that can barely throw and he wears mustard-colored suits. And those are your headlines at the top of the hour. When we come back, we'll have entertainment news. Don't laugh, Bliss. I can hear you laughing even though I can't hear you. We'll have entertainment news from around the world on Have No Fear. The cameras here. We'll be back with that in just a moment here on The Drive on Backchannel.tv, YouTube, and on your Amazon-supported device. We'll be right back. Here's some entertainment news. Mark from Georgia is back. Marley is telling Mark to stop blowing up the group chat. And I'm going to have to say, I want Mark to talk as much as he wants to talk, Marley. I need you guys to all be communicating with each other and with us. So, Mark, don't tell him to, don't say that. That's mean. He's back, Gliss. David's here.
He is.
Yeah, Marley is in Alaska, and Marley asked an interesting question. He's a little worried. He says, "Do you think it'll be a World War III?" And I'm I'm gonna say no. I don't think this is it.
I
Not
don't
yet.
think so either.
No.
We've talked about this a little bit. It's just I I don't know. Maybe I'm being too optimistic, but it seems to me like from history, our leaders, the world leaders, as you would say, have learned their lessons. That it's just if we get into a nuclear war, no one wins. Like it
No.
doesn't matter who has more points on the board because nobody's going to win. Both the U.S. and Russia, if a bunch of stuff were to go down, they would both be, in shambles, a shell
It's
of
over.
the countries that they were, economically and just, you talk about just, physically the infrastructure that would need to be rebuilt and all that stuff. It would just be so devastating. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No. And I mean, this is not that. This is not a world conflict because
it's one guy.
it's just one dude trying to get back land that he says is his essentially, and no, I would not worry about that. What I'd worry about though, if I were you, Marley, honestly, is I would be worried about. I'm sorry, Molly. What I would be worried about is I think I'm a little bit more worried about how other countries react to what Russia is doing with Ukraine, and less about him being such a hothead that he, Doctor Strange loves some situation. I don't think anything's going to happen. And Molly and Mark have apologized to each other in the group chat. See, love's in need of love today. That's all. We don't have to fight ever. And I'm a little confused. I'm not a big country music fan, but last night the ACM Awards that appeared on Amazon featured Morgan Wallen, who won at the ACM Awards. He didn't address the scandal that erupted last year when he was caught on video using a racial slur, and not just using it, like really enjoying it. He won Album of the Year from the Academy of Country Music at their award show last night for Dangerous, the double album, a year after he was removed from the ACM's ballot because he was caught on camera using a racial slur. Wallen made no direct reference to the issue, and his absence from recent award shows has accepted the trophy at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, but may have hinted at it. Quote Wallen, to quote, "To my son, this award will signify that his daddy was a fighter," close quote, Wallen said, finishing his speech by enthusiastically thanking the fans in attendance. Miranda Lambert took home the night's top prize, Entertainer of the Year, for the first time after losing out in 5 previous years, but was not in Las Vegas to accept it. Quote, "I cannot believe I'm not there to celebrate," close quote, Lambert said in a video message from London. "It's the first time I've missed the ACMs in 17 years. I've been waiting a long time for this." Wonder why she was in London. Carly Pierce won Best Female Artist, and Chris Stapleton won Best Male Artist over Wallen, who took no other awards Monday night after being nominated for 3. "A disco ball just fell right on me," Parton said, Dolly Parton. "I'm just hoping that nothing punctures me." Oh, I get it. Then came the Dolly Parton is the best. I love Dolly Parton for real. Then came the first of several long blocks of performances, including one 35 minutes long, and a ceremony that seeks to emphasize the music and a concert-like atmosphere. Parton's co-hosts Jimmy Allen and Gabby Barrett celebrated the show's return to its usual home city after 2 years in Nashville. They sang Elvis Presley's classic "Viva Las Vegas" and Faith Hill's "Let's Go to Vegas." They were followed by medleys from Eric Church and Walker Hayes, who started his performance deep in the stadium stands, dressed as casually as the folks in the cheap seats, as he sang his viral hit about a date at Applebee's, Fancy Like. I like that song. Brothers are, and no one cares.
I don't know that I've heard that one.
Oh, it's in a commercial. I like it.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of commercials, did you know that the theme song for The Drive is in a commercial?
Oh, is he?
Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Somebody's been watching. Somebody's watching The Drive. All right, it's in a car commercial.
Cease and desist letter.
We got to start writing.
I'm gonna get my lawyer on the phone.
Get to write. I was sitting in the house and I heard it and I was like, "Wait, that sounds so familiar." And I'm acting like I'm doing my thing, and I go, "Oh, holy moly, that's the song!" Yeah,
that's funny.
I meant to text you. Someone out there is watching The Drive, and thank you, ad exec. You know what you're doing. This is some sad news, and it's sad because this dude was a bad man, and he's probably known by a certain group of people for only one role that he played. But I remember when I was a little kid, him being on Laugh-In. His name is Johnny Brown. He passed away at 84 years old. Most people might remember him from Good Times, where he played the janitor Bookman. But this dude was a song and dance man. He did a ton of commercials in the 70s. He was a big deal. He passed away Wednesday of last week. There are no real details about how he died. But when I tell, if you Google Johnny Brown, man, you're going to see some real cool stuff. He was a great singer. He's like a vaudevillian dude. Just a fantastic actor. He's born in 1937 in Florida, in St. Petersburg, and raised in Harlem. He's survived by his wife, June. They've been married for 61 years. His daughter, who's also a Broadway actress, and his son, John Jr. He recorded songs and performed in the band with saxophonist Sam the Man Taylor, as well as performing twice on Broadway in the 1960s. He made his film debut in a 1996 film portraying a blind pianist in the drama A Man Called Adam. He later co-starred alongside Martin Sheen in 2008's Man in the Mirror. He was on The Jeffersons, Family Matters, Sister, The Wayans Brothers, a bunch of stuff on TV. And again, he was a regular performer for 3 years on Laugh-In. He joined Good Times in 1975 during the second season of the show and stayed until 1979. And according to the daughter, quote, "He was literally snatched out of our lives. It's not real for us yet, so there will be more to say, but not now. Dad was the absolute best. We love him so very much." Johnny Brown dead at the age of 84. It sounds like there's a fight or something going on in my hallway, Gliss. I just wanted to alert you. In case I say give me a 90, I may have to go out here to alert them that we're broadcasting, and I don't need violence while I'm talking about so much violence.
That makes sense.
What I mean? Yeah, it's what I do. Batman just took over everything. With
I know. I was being amused by our chat. There's a lot of Batman talk going on, so I was being amused by that just a second ago.
Here we go.
Did you see Batman?
No, I didn't go see it.
Okay,
I didn't go see it. Renee joined the stream though. Hey Renee, C is in. Maybe C lost Nathan. It's just C. Davidson, Indiana, and Mark is saying the Batman. My man, Mark. Mark is 11. Everyone, take it easy on my man. Patty says yes. Okay, yeah. Molly, Batman. Everybody loves Batman.
Now the whole song is being updated in real time in the dashboard.
I see. I'm watching it. That's funny. Batman made $128 million $128.5 million. Number 2 was Uncharted with $11 million. What is Dog? I don't know. The Way of the Dog made $6 million last weekend. Spider-Man No Way Home won't go home because he doesn't know Way Home. He made $4.4 million. Death on the Nile made $2.7 million. Sing 2 is still there, $1.5 million. Jackass Forever, that's a metaphor for some folks and a description, made $1.3 million, a total of $54.4 million it's made since it opened. And Cyrano, that I'm interested in with Peter Dinklage, made 0.68. That's not how I don't know how to read that. $6.8 million. And Scream is still there somehow. And that is our entertainment report. Real quick, singers who don't use, or celebrities rather, who don't use their real names. Alicia Keys is Alicia Aguelo Cook. Lady Gaga is Stephanie Joanne Angelina Jeramota. I didn't know that. Rihanna is Robin Rihanna Fenty. Miley Cyrus is Destiny Hope Cyrus. Why didn't she just use Destiny Hope?
I know, right? I was kind of thinking that too. Some of the, like that one in particular, it sounds like a showbiz name.
It does. Well, I mean, her dad was Achy Breaky Heart Man. Cardi B is, well, we all tried to forget. Cardi B is Belcalis Almanzar. Reese Witherspoon is Laura Jean Reese Witherspoon. And she sounds like she was born in the country. Emma Stone is Emily Jean Stone. Natalie Portman is Natalie Hirschlag.
That's probably the most surprising one.
Yeah, because Natalie Portman sounds
didn't see that one coming.
No. Drake is Aubrey Drake Graham. I knew that. Erica Badu is Erica Abi Wright. Spike Lee, I didn't know this was Shelton Jackson Lee. And I didn't know Whoopi Goldberg as well. Karen Johnson. Bruno Mars is Peter Gene Hernandez. He should have went with Peter Gene.
He doesn't sound. I don't think of him as a Peter, but I agree. Peter Gene.
Peter Gene. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Gene. And then he can come out rocking out and stuff. When we come back, we've got sports up the you know what, man. It is going down today in the world of sports. We're going to cover all of that. We're going to go back into this chat so we can finish singing Batman, because there is nothing about Batman that is not great. And this is the best chat ever. And if you're not in it, join us on backchannel.tv. You can also go to YouTube and join the chat there. Or you can get on your Amazon supported device and say something with the word say in it, and then you'll be there. We'll be back with Play Ball on the Drive. Be right back. Had to grab a hat because it's sports time. I also had to turn my light on. It got unbelievably dark. If the sun is out, though, it's weird. And there's a real sport taking place as Molly and Mark are continuing to go back and forth with Batman. This is great. I think we should we're gonna have to do the old Batman song one of these days, Bliss, and play it for the people if we can.
We could do that. This is pretty entertaining, though.
Quite. It's way better than whatever we're doing.
I was gonna say I'm having a hard time following the rundown for the show now, because I'm just concentrating on what's coming next in the chat.
So NFL wide receiver Calvin Ridley was suspended for the entire 2022 season after gambling on games even though he was not on the team at the time that he was gambling on games, he gambled on the Falcons, the team that he played for. He's going to miss the entire season. An investigation by the NFL didn't find any evidence that Ridley had used inside information to place his bets, nor that teammates and coaches knew of his gambling, the league said in a statement yesterday. Quote, your actions put the integrity of the game at risk, threaten to damage public confidence in professional football, and potentially undermine the reputations of your fellow players throughout the NFL, close quote, wrote Commissioner Roger Goodell in a letter to Ridley notifying him of the suspension. And Ridley can't stop talking. He says he doesn't have a gambling problem. He bet $1,500 total. That sounds like kind of problematic. He was on a voluntary break from football. In October, Ridley said he was stepping away from the sport in order to focus on his mental well-being. As a result, he wasn't traveling with the team at the time of the bets. I couldn't even watch football at that point, Ridley wrote yesterday. Just gonna be more healthy. I'm sorry, when I come back. His words, not mine. Ridley was drafted by the Falcons in the first round of the 2018 NFL draft after a standout career at the University of Alabama. In his third professional season, he caught 90 passes for nearly 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns, a stat line that earned him 2020 second team All-Pro honors and set expectations high for last year. But Ridley struggled through the first 5 games before announcing his break in October. Now his future is uncertain. And there are a lot of people who are mad because they, rightfully so, point out that there's a bit of a disparity when it comes to what the NFL actually punishes people for as opposed to what they don't. Here's the thing. The NFL needs to fix how it punishes people for domestic violence. Absolutely. They must do that. They have no choice now because the hypocrisy is being noted. Ridley getting a year off when we've had countless incidents of domestic violence in the NFL and other forms of corruption in the NFL, and people will get suspended for far less. Problem is, it is clear that as an active player, even if you're an active player that needed a mental health break, you cannot gamble in any aspect on any NFL anything. Now, the NFL has another problem. Their newly retired former player Drew Brees advertises for a gambling organization. Devin Hester, former Chicago Bear, same organization. They got to make it clearer. You know what I'm saying? They have to not make that such a blurry line when it comes to how they punish folks who do heinous crimes, especially toward women, and a dude that's spending $1,500 on a gambling app on his phone. It's wrong. Can't do it. I don't think the punishment should be that severe. It may end up not being. As far as what his future is, I bet Calvin Ridley plays football again soon. You know, the Chicago Bears need a wide receiver, and they got nothing to lose. Let's keep the phone away from him and let him play here. He can do that. And then the other story in the NFL, and there are several. Aaron Rodgers is, I'm going to try to be nice to this punk. Aaron Rodgers is going to be back with the Green Bay Packers in 2022. And, is my mic broken all of a sudden? What's wrong with my mic? Oh, well. Good luck, Aaron. Too bad I couldn't read that story about Aaron Rodgers. A Russian gymnast is facing disciplinary action for wearing a Z symbol on a podium. Russian gymnast Ivan Kuliak is facing disciplinary action after wearing a Z symbol taped to his uniform while standing next to Ukrainian Ilya Kovtun on the podium at a Gymnastics World Cup event in Doha, Qatar on Saturday. The letter has become widely regarded as a symbol of support for Russian invasion of Ukraine. Although Z is not a part of the Cyrillic alphabet, Russian military vehicles participating in the invasion have donned the letter, and its use has spread to supporters of the operation. The Russian and Ukrainian athletes stood next to each other in the medal ceremony for parallel bars after Kovtun won a gold and Kuliak took bronze. The International Gymnastics Federation, FIG, issued a statement Sunday saying that it will ask the Gymnastics Ethics Foundation to open disciplinary proceedings against male artistic gymnast Ivan Kuliak from Russia following his shocking behavior at the Apparatus World Cup in Doha, Qatar. Kuliak had taped the letter to his uniform in place of the Russian flag, which had been banned by the FIG. The World Gymnastics Regulatory Body announced in late February that the flags of both Russia and Belarus must not be displayed at any FIG competitions, and it also banned the playing of those countries' national anthems. So the Z is a symbol that the Russian military is putting on their trucks, tanks, uniforms, and this kid has a Z on his jersey, on his outfit rather. The other news: Russell Westbrook traded from the Denver Broncos. Traded to the Denver Broncos from the Seattle Seahawks for 5 picks and all kinds of stuff. Gliss, I'm not sure I make that move. I don't know if I. And they were asking on sports radio here in Chicago, if they traded all that stuff for him, how much would Denver have gotten or given away? It's like 4 picks and 3 active players. How much would they have given away for Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
You know?
Now, I mean, I think Russell Wilson probably has a little more youth on his side. I'd probably rather have Wilson. I think he's a more dynamic quarterback. Yes, Aaron Rodgers has won MVP the last couple seasons, but I mean,
I would rather have Russell Wilson too, but I understand. Yeah. I would totally understand why they would want Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers does bring. He's a great quarterback. I hate him, but that has nothing to do with how good of a quarterback he is. He's really good. But I think Denver played the right move. You get a guy who can help your franchise grow, who is still pretty identifiable and who hasn't reached the ceiling yet, I don't think. And he wants a Super Bowl. And Denver, if we believe what they're saying, they think they're a quarterback away from being in contention for one. I think Aaron Rodgers made a huge mistake. Well, actually, I don't think he made a mistake. I think the Green Bay Packers made a mistake putting all your hopes on a dude that's 37 years old now in the hope that he's still going to be able to maintain this clip for years to come. He's not Tom Brady. He has only won 1 Super Bowl, which is good. He's won 1, but he can't win a playoff game to save his life. And that's going to hurt them in actually re-signing their players and getting new players because you just put all your money into this man's lap. I'm not saying the Bears are going to win a division, although that would be great to smack that punk in the mouth twice a year for the next 4 years. But I just question the intelligence behind the move. I think they're stupid for it. I wouldn't have done that.
I agree with you. I mean, it seems like a weird argument to make because he's coming off of 2 straight MVPs. But again, they haven't been out of the first round either of those 2 seasons, and they just tied it. As you said, they just gave the majority of their money, their payroll, to a guy that's 37. Yeah. And while you can use the fact that he just came off of 2 MVPs, I could also argue that at 37, that means he's not going to be any better than he has been, the last 5 seasons. 2 years from now, when he's halfway through this deal that he's getting paid a ton of money for. And not only that, as you pointed out too, one of the big things that the big contentions that he's had with the organization is feeling like, so step 1 was, I guess he questioned their, allegiance to him, which they've now, invested all this money into him. But the other part of that was that he wanted to have an opportunity to win every single season. How are you going to be bringing in players
asking them to take a discount too?
Yeah, if you're getting paid that much money, it bothers me a little bit on his part. I don't blame him for getting his money. He just won 2 MVPs. He deserves all the money that he's being paid. But if winning is really part of the equation, it just doesn't sit right, because you're saying you want to win, and yet you're like, oh yeah, if you want to give me the majority of the payroll, then I'll just go ahead and take that and just come out and keep my mouth shut about winning, and
So
just roll it out that way.
So it's a $200 million extension that makes him the highest paid player in NFL history with a $50 million average annual salary, and he receives a $153 million. He receives $153 million guaranteed. And then Aaron Rodgers made a tweet this afternoon. Did you hear about this? He says,
No.
"Hey everyone, just wanted to clear some things up. Yes, I will be playing with the Packers next year. However, reports about me signing the contract are inaccurate, as are the supposed terms of the contract I signed. I'm very excited to be back." And then it's a muscle emoji and hashtag year 18 and then a heart. Dude, look, shut up. Don't say anything. Even if this is wrong, let it be right for at least 12 hours. And then they can come back and correct the deal. But if this money is, in fact, correct, the Packers may have shot themselves in the foot for not just 4 years, but many years to come. So,
and the other thing I was going to say too, Devontae Adams, who's one of the best, maybe you got issues out there in the hallway.
No. Yeah, I was just investigating the whatever's happening out there in the hallway.
Yeah,
I'm safe in here. My door is locked.
But I mean, there's been a lot of questions around Devontae Adams, how long he was going to stay. Are they going to be able to afford to keep him around for the length of this contract? Because he's one of the best, wide receivers in the NFL. And I saw there was some reports that they were going to use the franchise tag on him and whatnot. But again, in terms of building a winner that's sustainable for the length of this contract, given Rodgers' age, it just seems like I don't know. I scratch my head a little bit on this one because I just don't see if those are the terms of the contract or it's close to that, how are they going to put together a roster around him to compete?
And he's 37 years old.
And he's 37 years old. And
if he gets hit with any kind of anything at all, you might take him out. You can this is not and it's a ridiculous argument. He's won MVP 4 times. He just won the MVP this past season. I think that's 2 years in a row or whatever. Still, man, that's like, okay. Even if the dog-faced monster played for the Bears, I would be questioning keeping him as opposed to being able to get 3 or 4 picks and some live bodies and maybe even some money for him. I just think the Packers might have
moved that Seattle did.
Yeah, exactly. I think the Packers might have shot themselves in the foot. I think that they think they're going to win a Super Bowl in 4 years. Good luck. You just tagged your number 1 wide receiver.
You got to get out of the first round first.
Please. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I saw that and I felt like that's a heavy ask for him. And if the money turns out not to be true, and not even that, what would make him want to go back to Green Bay and what makes him think that they're going to win a Super Bowl? I wrote on Twitter today, my tweet was stupid Packers. No pictures, no hashtag, just stupid Packers. I think that's a dumb move. But, good for me. I'm a Bear fan. And anything to cripple them forever makes me feel great. So cool. Greg Popovich tied Don Nelson's NBA record last night with his 1,335th career victory as the San Antonio Spurs beat the Lakers. And the only reason I'm laughing is because before the game, I was like, the Spurs are going to win tonight. And they won 117 to 110. I couldn't believe it. Pop is in his 26th season, and he's going to try to pass Don Nelson when San Antonio plays the Raptors tomorrow night. That's a big deal, man. Shout out to Greg Popovich. If I
Pop
ever
is the man.
Yeah, he is. If I would have ever played professional basketball, I would absolutely have loved to have played for him. I would have ran through a wall for Pop. I think Greg Popovich is everything that's great about coaches. Not like
leadership.
That.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of the best leaders. Just the way he carries himself, the moments he picks and how eloquent he is when he speaks about issues outside of basketball. That guy is just, he's very admirable man for sure.
To say the least. And he's a really good basketball coach. And he's coached some great Hall of Fame players on an international level with the Olympics and all that stuff. Just a great coach. I really struggle with the idea of Greg Popovich not being in the league anymore. That's going to be one day. I mean, that's going to be hard to imagine the NBA without him in it. Won't be as easy as it'll be for me to imagine college basketball without Coach K in it. Did you see that over the weekend at all?
Yeah, I kind of paid attention. I mean,
here it is. There's a game before that. It's Texas and somebody, and it was an overtime game. Texas and Kansas State, a thriller. And that Duke game had started, and ESPN couldn't get off that other game, and I loved it. I got a chance to watch free basketball and to make Coach K have to wait. And then North Carolina goes into Cameron Indoor and beats Duke up. Oh, they beat him up. So after the game, Coach K's like, I want everybody to be quiet while I'm talking. What? Shut up. Who are you? Why do I have to be quiet? I pay to go to school here. It's not free. Well, maybe it is, depending on who you are. And I apologize for tonight, but I'm not apologizing for the season. Shut up. Go away. When is it? Oh, I hope it's over first round of the tournament. That would be great. We have a guest tomorrow too, talking about NCAA basketball. Yeah,
we do. Yeah,
good.
And he's like a college basketball savant. Okay. So
I'm excited. I'm excited.
He should be able to drop some knowledge for us. Let us know what to do with that.
I'm ready. I'm ready, man, because there's money to be made. I mean, games to pick. Games to pick. I was going to talk about Brittany Griner and why she's in Russia, and I'll just give it a real short one. And shame on the NBA for not doing more to take care of the WNBA. A lot of American women basketball players go to Russia and barnstorm, I guess that would be the term to use, because they can make a lot of money playing during the off season in Russia and in other parts of the world. It is a shame that we don't take better care of our women athletes. I'll say that on International Women's Day proudly. We should be doing a better job here in this country of taking care of them. We just got around to making sure that the women's national team in soccer got paid properly, which is also a joke because they're the only ones who win. They should have been getting paid a long time ago. I hope she gets back here. I hope her wife stops going on Instagram telling people to respect their privacy. She's been in jail since February. No, you want people to know that she's there so that the Russians find a way to let her go. And she brought a vape pen with hashish oil in it. Not a smart thing to do. You should know your surroundings, know where your landmarks are and all that. I don't know why she did that. I wouldn't have advised her to do that. But you know, Melinda's in Virginia, Mark's in Georgia, Molly is in Alaska, Sarah is in Virginia, Leo is in Oklahoma. Sarah and Leo are new, and we appreciate it. Bishop is here, so is James, and Kristen is here, Tim as well. Hey everybody, welcome. I'm pretty sure I know how you guys got here. Mark is our unofficial chat room representative. He represents me and Gliss. He's 11. So, or maybe he's 38 because he has a girlfriend and he goes on dates and stuff. Wasn't he supposed to go on a date this weekend?
It was last week. I can't remember what day that was.
Me neither.
I want to say it was like Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that.
Yeah, he's supposed to be on a hot date. 11 years old out here with money. Dating people. That's good. Mark says Scarlett, his girlfriend. Okay, cool. How did it go, Mark? Was it a good date? Did you guys go to the movie? Not Scarlett. I don't know what you. All right, Mark. I can get out of here. Around the association tonight, there's basketball everywhere. All of these starting times are at 7. Nets against the Hornets, the Cavaliers against the Pacers, the Suns against the Magic. At 7:30 Eastern, it's the Pelicans against the Memphis John Morants. At 8 Eastern, it's the Bucks against the Thunder. And at 10 Eastern, the Clippers against the Warriors. On the ice, the Avalanche against the Devils, the Golden Knights at the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Panthers at the Pittsburgh Penguins. All those games are at 7 Eastern. At 7:30, it's the Kraken, my guys, against my other guys, the Maple Leafs and the Coyotes against the stupid Red Wings at 7:30. The Senators take on the dumb St. Louis Blues. I'm a Hawks fan too. Take on the dumb St. Louis Blues at 8 o'clock. The hapless Stars play the Nashville Predators. All the teams I hate are playing at 8 p.m. Eastern. The Rangers against the Wild at 8 Eastern. The Lightning against the Winnipeg Jets at 8 Eastern. And at 8:30 Eastern, the Ducks, the mighty Ducks, against the Chicago Blackhawks. And at 9, the Capitals against the Calgary Flames. How about that? And that's a look at the sportsy sports. I'm going to jump in this chat room real quick and just see. All right, make sure everybody's cool. Mark, you're in charge. Scarlett Keith. Vienna has joined the stream. Hello, Vienna. Thank you for joining. When we come back, we'll have a story that will carry you to your dinner table and possibly to your water cooler if you're going back to the office or not. It's a beautiful day in Chicago. The sun is making its move. Let's get out of here and then come right back with Front of Mind. You're watching The Drive with Mario Smith here on Backchannel.tv, YouTube, and on your Amazon-supported device. We'll be back right after these words. There are so many ways to help Ukraine, and people across the nation have stepped up. And this is something that's happening in Milwaukee. A Milwaukee woman is doing so in a unique way. Olga Thomas enrolled on every single website she could to find help. On every single website she could find to help refugees with housing, and she's doing just that. However, she doesn't want to be the focus, but rather the need for more people to step up and help. From more than 5,000 miles away, Thomas has watched the war unfold in the Ukraine. Like the rest of the world, I was in shock, said Thomas. From the very first moment, my question was, what can I do how can I help? Fox needs to rewrite this. This is terrible. It was a question that came with an easy answer. Thomas owns a 2-bedroom apartment in Romania that also serves as an Airbnb rental. Quote, I said that I'm going to host refugees, obviously complimentary, close quote, said Thomas. With refugees across Europe, Thomas's apartment offers a roof over their heads. At one point, 6 women and 4 kids stayed there. The number is constantly changing. I prefer to carry good deeds in silence, said Thomas. However, I view this as an opportunity to create awareness. She wants to raise awareness that help is needed. It's the kind of assistance refugees are beyond grateful for. I sent Olga many, many thanks because I really don't know what we do without Olga, said Anna Starnkova, a refugee. Starnkova traveled from Odessa, Ukraine to Bucharest, Romania. While her family is still in Ukraine, she finds comfort in the kindness. Ukrainians cannot find helpful people and kind people. And when I come, I really was in shock because I didn't understand why these people help us, said Starnkova. The acts of kindness across the nation are bringing light and love to Ukraine during such dark times. I am just so moved, said Thomas. I'm just one of the many, many people who came together to help. I'm not the only one. I would say the entire country, the entire world stood up. Sterenkova said Thomas inspired her to pay it forward. She is using her car in Romania to help transport refugees and provide food and clothing to those in need. In fact, that seems to be happening a lot with a lot of Airbnb folks, that they are encouraging people to get an Airbnb, even though no one can stay there. That money goes to people in the on the ground. A Michigan woman's dog is found on the ice 7 miles from shore. A Michigan dog on the loose for nearly a week was reunited with her owner after the canine was found to have traveled 7 miles on the ice of a frozen bay. Autumn Arsenault of Gladwin said her dog Mahen, a 3-year-old Kai Ken, was staying with her father in Bay City. This all sounds like super fancy. With her father in Bay City in late February while Arsenault was visiting Ann Arbor. Arsenault said Mayhem escaped from her father's house February 26 and fled, apparently searching for her owner. I believe she frantically searched for me when she went through the door, Arsenault told M Live. My father ended up falling on the ice and startling her as she took off. He chased her more, which in turn scared her more. He lost visual of her on State Park Drive and Lagoon Beach. I was in Ann Arbor and felt so helpless. Arsenault launched a days-long search for Mayhem and ended up contacting TK and Son Ice Recovery after someone reported sighting the canine on the ice covering Saginaw Bay. Arsenault received a message Wednesday from a man named Aaron Wolf, who was also a detective. I'm kidding. Who reported spotting Mayhem on the ice. Wolf remained nearby to watch the dog until TK and Son Ice Recovery arrived on the scene with Arsenault in tow. Arsenault said the location at which Mayhem was found on the ice was 7 miles from shore. We took 3 snowmobiles out with us on the backs and arrived at the location, and there she was, Arsenault said. We made sure to park the snowmobiles at a distance because of the fear she'll run. We walked up and called her, and she came right up to us, crawling into our laps with lots of kisses. We slipped the collar on and rode back to shore with her in our arms. TK and Son Ice Recovery shared photos and video from the rescue and reunion on Facebook. I can't describe the feeling of having her home and safe, Arsenault said. Relief is a clear descriptor, but there's so many other emotions. While the adrenaline still hasn't worn off, I can still feel some relaxation. Yeah, that's cool. Next time, don't let your dad walk your dog, okay? I don't mean to cry on the end of that story. I'm just saying, don't do that. Don't let your dad walk your dog. That's an easy request from your guy Mario Smith. Don't do it. I forgot I still have my sports hat on. Uh-oh, we got another Von Rent. Do you see it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's in the back channel chat on our board here.
Oh yeah. No, I did see that. I blocked. Yeah.
It would be this show that the Russians hacked too. They're not gonna get Hal. They're not gonna mess with Jam and Renee. They definitely ain't gonna run up on Anthony Davis, but they'll get us though. That's just how it goes. On this day in 1946, the first commercial helicopter is licensed. In 1971, hardly remember it? Joe Frazier defeats Muhammad Ali in the fight of the century at Madison Square Garden. And in 1972, the Goodyear blimp flies for the first time. I wonder if it was a Monday Night Football game.
Could be.
In 1976, celebrating a birthday today, football player and chief antagonist Hines Ward. Oh, that dude was so good, man. He was such a good. Oh my goodness gracious, he was good. He's very, very good. Diana Ross made her solo performing debut in Farmington, Massachusetts on this date, 1970. And a movie I like. LL Cool J made his acting debut playing an undercover New York cop in The Hard Way in 1991. LL Cool J, my man. Nice dude too, Gliss. Super nice dude. Very, very, very nice man. In 1994, Nirvana's Kurt Cobain is released from a Rome hospital 4 days after lapsing into what was called an accidental drug-induced coma. In 1994, the Black Crowes album Shake Your Moneymaker is certified quadruple platinum. And on this date in 2016, the legendary producer of the Beatles, Sir George Martin, dies at age 90. Now, these right here, these do you knows are huge. All right, everybody, look. Did you know that 35% of us think screaming children is the worst part of weddings? I think the worst part of a wedding, yeah, you know what? Yeah. I went to an outdoor wedding this past year it was 1,000,000,000 degrees. I felt like I was on top of the sun, but they had fans. And that was not the worst part of that wedding. And there were no screaming children. That was a great wedding. Shout out to Mike Shannon. Mike and his wife Shannon. I call them Mike Shannon. 25% of women read a book on vacation, but rarely at home. Armenia is the only country in the world requiring children to learn chess in school. Huh. I'm going to read that one last. In a recent survey, 1 in 4 drivers said they run red lights daily. What? Oh, no. That's no.
That's ridiculous.
What? 42% of people wake up thinking about their job. I wake up every morning.
Yep.
Even on Saturday and Sunday.
Sometimes in my sleep.
Man. Oh, you ain't joking. Yeah. I had a radio dream the other day. I never had those. I had a radio dream.
That was stressful, man.
It's
real. When you feel disoriented like that and you think you got that in the front of your mind.
Man, I woke up out of the dream going, oh my God, I got to go down to the station. Like in the middle of the night, like something's wrong. I got to a survey reveals that 54% of people shop for Christmas presents year round. I know people that do that. A survey found the number one thing people want in their dream home is a bathroom in every bedroom. Number 9 is an aquarium. Here's the 12 things we want in a dream house. Number 12, at least 6 bedrooms. Okay, word. Number 11, a nightclub. I don't want a nightclub in my house. A bowling alley is number 10. An aquarium is 9. A wine cellar, absolutely, is 8. And so far we're doing it all up to the top here. Number 7, a movie theater. Yes. Number 6, a gym. Yes. Mm-hmm. Number 5, a library. Absolutely, a big one too. Number 4, a relaxation or meditation room. Yes. Number 3, a balcony. If I got all that stuff, I better have a damn balcony.
I know, right?
I want to be like I'm in a castle. Number 2, walk-in closets. Absolutely, those things are underrated. And number 1, a bathroom attached to every bedroom. Did you know, Gliss, in Alabama, you could be put to death for putting salt on a railroad track? What kind of country, Bama? Who would do that? Going out to that, where you going? Going down to the railroad. What you gonna do? Put some salt on the railroad track. What?
That's the only reason I just threw that on the end there, because I was like, what the hell is that? I'm just gonna throw that on the end salt of the show.
But that's not as bad as this one. 29% of men have never cleaned the toilet at home.
That is really bad.
That's
Come on, guys.
Gross.
Step your game up.
You suck if you haven't cleaned the toilet at home. You're the worst. What a waste of time. God, that's awful. Those are good ones. Those are good ones. John, Elaine, Don Mims, Mark, Vienna, Leo, Sarah. Both Leo and Sarah are new to the show. Thank you. Molly in Alaska, Melinda in Virginia. Thank you guys for watching today. Really appreciate it. Gliss. Whew. See you tomorrow. And what's our guest name tomorrow?
Greg Peterson. And he does a bunch of stuff. We'll fill everybody in tomorrow. But if you're doing a bracket, then you should definitely be here in the second hour tomorrow. So
it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to that, man. Thank you, brother.
All right, see ya.
See you later. What a day. We learned so much. We also learned that the Batman song is a favorite of Mark's. Right on, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. As the sun begins its setting here in Chicago, Illinois, on this International Women's Day, my name is Mario Smith. Thank you so much for watching The Drive. Join us starting at 6 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow for more of Backchannel.tv with Haley and Allison. Until then, have a wonderful evening. Be safe, and we'll catch you soon. Peace.